taller than me. We actually had to pull the pallet over so I could stand on a pallet and work with it.
My son has this breastplate, he's 7. In order for him to do it, we had to put him on a stool because everything's set in my house.
When I'm first getting started, sometimes I'll work right around the top.
Yeah.
To kind of get the dome kicked in a little bit before I start working down the side. Just out of habit.
Right.
Some of where I'm moving it is based on, hey, it's hot over there. I'm not going to hold it there. So sometimes I'll switch directions, you know.
Okay.
Not technique or anything. It's just like, oh, that's hot. Do it more, but...
I hate using tongs, although Rick Lenz, who's hosting us next week or tomorrow, it gives you these green-handled tongs, which are the nicest ones I've used. But they're still tongs. I'd rather have my hand on it. I think the tip got hot.
I've never had my propylene do that. Is that going to be a problem now?
No, it shouldn't be. Just try to keep it back a little.
Yeah.
You're probably in front with that gas. You're pretty used to it. So you've gone all the way out to the edge already in one spot, another area you haven't even touched, and that doesn't matter.
Not in the least.
And now that may have been part of why I was having so much trouble, because I was chasing the heat around it.
Yeah, you're trying to do too much at one time.
Right.
I think. Like when I was first trying to learn how to raise and everything, I was trying to move the metal faster than I should have been. I mean, it's one of those, you can only move it as fast as it'll let you move it.
Right.
I mean, once you learn how to tell it where you want it to go, it'll go. But, you know, there's still a few things it doesn't like to do, so you gotta talk to it a little sweeter. I usually work the back first when I do it.
Say that again. Where's the center line?
Right through here.
Okay.
Yeah.
You generally work the back first.
I end up doing that. If I want to thicken it, it's easier to thicken the front once the back worked in a little bit. What you do, you end up moving a lot of metal out of the way if you push the back in first really fast. So all this metal that you get inside, you can then push it around to the front.
So it winds up a little...
thicken the front, yeah.
Well, that's where you need it. Have you ever tried doing what they did on that video? Worked more than one at a time for the rough out?
Not as big as this.
Well, with coal, yeah, you get a bigger hot spot. Is that helpful?
This point, yeah.
Because you're just moving a lot of metal.
Do what?
Because you're moving a lot of metal.
Yeah, like now I've got to stop before I can work another area. If I'd gotten that whole edge hot, I could have worked it all the way out.
Got it.
going from the back to the front. Yeah, I do it out of habit, kind of, but also out of, it does make it really easy to give yourself a little bit more thickness in the front than in the back.
Right. Now, if you were making something big like a barboot, how big would the circle be when you started it?
Depends on thickness, whether or not you're trying to thin the metal.
Okay.
Started with a 20-something inch disc on the last one I did, which I thought was just, it sucked.
Did you wind up removing a lot of metal?
Do what?
Did you wind up removing a lot, trimming a lot, or is that pretty much what you used?
No, that was pretty close.
Ah,
But I wasn't raising with the intent to stretch the metal out.
Right.
At all. I mean, I was just raising basic silversmithing technique of raising. I was working in quarters rather than concentric circles, but I still wasn't trying to stretch it really made the metal. Like Billy Radford, he stretches the metal a lot. He's starting out with thick blanks. I mean, I've only seen one video of him raising. When you start out with the starting material, and how big around it is, I was like, he had to chug this steel, and he stretched the crap out of it to get it to where it was.
well, did you do bobs out of like plate, or was it just
14 gauge.
Was it?
14 gauge.
Wow.
I don't remember the diameter I started with for his. Yeah, I thickened the brow to over 1/8 of an inch, and then the back I thinned to about 1.5 millimeters, so about 16 gauge in the back.
Wow.
Out towards some of the edges, like there was a few areas like down towards the edge where you get into that roll where I thinned it to 18, roughly 18 gauge.
And you were able to control that metal, man.
You just gotta learn how to sell the metal where you want it to go.
I guess I just need to buckle down and blow through a lot of gas and coal or whatever and do several to get it to do what I want it to do.
I would say cut out an 8-inch circle,
Yeah.
14 gauge, and try and make a tulip-shaped vase.
Okay.
Because once you've done something like that, you know you can put the metal anywhere you want it.
Right.
Neck it down like a bulb, and then neck down into a slender neck. Once you figure out how to do that, it becomes like, shoot, if I can move the metal from a flat disc into this shape,
Right.
helmet's an easy for me.
Right.
I mean, you just have to do it slower, just because you've got more metal you have to move. If you aren't moving the metal in any more complicated fashion, it's just more of a move, so it's going to take a little longer.
So now you've pushed the back pretty well. Now you're moving towards the front.
I could work the entire back of the helmet in if I wanted to, whatever
Before you
shape I
touch
wanted.
the front.
But if I'm not sure how much material I've got, I may, may want to work the front a little bit too, see what we've got. So like when you're raising, if you're hitting it into the material like this,
Yeah.
I think they call it a retarding blow. You're not stretching the metal any.
Okay.
You may even be compressing it back into itself a little bit. Like this wrinkle here, if I'm hitting it in like this, I'm pushing some of that metal back into itself.
Okay.
If I'm hitting down like this, I'm stretching the metal out.
Okay.
So as you're working around towards the front, if you spin it around, or if you just kick it back and you start doing somewhat retarding blows into it, you can keep that metal from stretching out as you're raising it.
Right.
So if you do those kind of retarding blows into that area, you can keep the metal from growing. And in the back, if you do the stretching blows, you can stretch out the back.
Okay.
And
So
as you get the excess
pull more
metal,
of a tail out of the back and thick up in the front.
yeah, as you're getting this excess metal, as you're working in the back, you can stretch it out towards the front as well as compress it into the brow. So you're just
Okay.
kind of pushing the metal around. Like, I mean, all this excess metal here has to go somewhere.
Right.
So you can take it and you can draw it down to give you length, or you can push it around to the front and just shove it all into itself.
Right.
Like back here, you only saw a few of the little wrinkles that I compressed into themselves, the
Right.
little ripples. I haven't compressed this hardly at all, but I've gotten a lot of shape. I'm letting the metal move around.
Right.
I'm just kind of controlling where I'm pushing it around.
Mm-hmm.
All that's going to have to get compressed in or stretched out.
Has to go somewhere, right?
So I can, at this point here, start stretching it down, or just have rude, big, heavy wrinkles up in the front, basically, where I'm got to push all that metal back
Okay.
into itself.
Cool.
Just a little. Spend more time heating this hit sometimes. Looks like a bucket.
If we only had a trip
We're not
hammer, we
making
could make buckets. Brian, will you put the lid on that? I don't want to get any soot in it.
This is the annual bucket making conference.
It is. The BRS. The Bucket Research.
I've got this concept down. It's the fine tuning and getting the final shape that escapes me mentally.
Stop that.
Sounds like Doug welding.
Pop real bad.
Oh, God. I was down there one day when I was trying to weld 22 gauge spring steel hourglass on. Holy cow.
I kind of trap the metal in there a little bit.
I saw that. And then push
That's
it towards
just
the
helping
center.
leave the thickness right into there. You're raising on a T-stake, you're more likely to get that sweeping tail.
See, and that's what they were doing. I didn't see them ever working off of a ball. I saw them working off of the ox tongue stake, the tongue stake. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll get more of a sweep to it that way. I forgot, I haven't raised over a T-stake in a long time.
And that's exactly what they were doing. Now, I'm watching,
Yeah,
and I've
that's
seen you
true.
raise over this ball, and it's tucking the metal in. method to your madness, it doesn't seem. Or it's doing what needs to be done to the metal.
No, I'm pushing the metal into itself up here.
Oh, okay. Oh, so that's why you tucked it in at the lip there. Okay.
Pushing the metal back into itself more than around here. I was moving it towards the front. Here, I'm trying to keep it kind of compressed into itself.
Okay. One of the reasons why I wish I could do one in my basement. Because it stays real cool down there no matter what. Is your shop air conditioned?
It doesn't even get a good cross draft through it.
Oh man. Yeah, like beating on metal with a hammer is fun. It's work. Oh, for you anyway. Are you looking to do any projects to supplement your armor income, or like locks or anything like that? Do you see that? Now, if you want to serve the FCA market and make money, don't go to events. Have someone else sell for you. Because then you don't have the time away from the shop. You don't have to deal with cost.
I want to do nice work for people that appreciate it.
You can't do it and make money though.
Yep.
You want to be the nice guy and the artisan, and you're not going to get rich doing that.
Got a mushroom steak that I built out of a piece of 2.5-inch solid round that I forged out by hand. That was dumb. It's my favorite steak. One of the first steaks I built. I knew I needed something with about an 8-inch roughly diameter to it, curve, and I couldn't find a ball that big. I didn't have the money, so grabbed a piece of steel, heated up the end of it, and started upsetting it onto my anvil set on the ground. Just kept bumping it until I bumped it up a bit bigger, and then took one of my dishes, just started beating it into the dish to mushroom it out like a giant rivet. Basically, I was just bam, bam, bam,
Man.
mushroomed it out, and then I flipped it up onto my anvil, brought my anvil up, got a sledgehammer, and just started drawing it out, and drew it down to 1 inch, and then dog-legged it. So it went from 2.5 inches down to 1 inch square.
I think I've seen a picture of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's beefy.
Dang handy steak to use though. Works great with knees and other things. Perfect radius for a certain thing. Nice.
Another question I get a lot: where do I get tools?
Build them.
Make it, yeah.
I'll tell people to get a welder. If you can't afford a welder, any force, get a torch. So, if you can get a welder, get a welder, get a torch. Get an angle grinder and a drill. You can build just about anything else with those. Like I built myself a coal forge. Didn't have gas forge or anything else. And didn't want to try and do major forging with a torch. So use the torch and built me a forge. Torch welded the legs, the pot, all the little parts. Put some coal in there and start forging out tools.
Don't let me forget. I have to get Charles at 4:50.
450?
Yeah, just before 5. So you just pushed it all in.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing there, just working it in.
You're working front or back?
Back. Gotta knock that in a bit. Go back and knock in the back some more. Work around again, basically.
It's amazing. You can kind of start to see that part is steeper than that part, which will come out into more of a tail-like thing. It's amazing how fast it's moving. Now that you've moved from that big shape down to here.
This is the hardest part, too.
Really?
Yeah, once you get it knocked in a little bit past this, it becomes really quite easy to move the metal where you want it. That's what I'm saying, with the bucket making, they're getting it past this part. This is the time-consuming, tedious slow part. And they've just bypassed all that.
Right. Now when you do like an elbow, do you use the same technique of hitting down versus hitting in?
An elbow is a small enough piece. You aren't moving enough metal to really affect. I mean, you can somewhat, but
Yeah.
there's not enough metal there to really determine, okay, I want it thick on the outside and thin on the inside.
Right. You don't need it.
If you want it thinner on the inside, just take an extra 30 seconds on your grinder and just grind it a little thinner. There's a couple other fun tricks that I figured out, learned, and see how much bigger I've stepped that?
Yeah.
It's actually stretching the metal now. Start putting the step that big in, and you start spinning the metal more. You can feel the resistance a little bit when you're first doing it. As you try to spin the metal a little bit versus just moving it. Some of the helmets, the Sallet's and the little open-faced helmets, they have several plates on the back and stuff like that. I'd put money, they grabbed the jug of steel, started raising it, went, oh, hell, we don't have enough material for that.
Right.
Oh, well, we'll make it into this then.
Well, that's what I was thinking about this one. Is if we get it to the point where we don't have enough metal, we just add plates. It's amazing how ugly it looks at this stage. All those hammer wrecks and things, they all just go away.
Yeah, if you're trying to make armor that looks like historical armor, it's going to get ugly before it gets pretty.
Right. You can't be afraid to move the metal with a steel hammer and dent it, scar it. You know, all those stainless steel armorers, they don't want to scar anything.
Yeah.
I got into a discussion with Ice Falcon when we were out at Kazakh that year, and I asked him why doesn't he go a little bit further with some of his shapes, and he said because I would have to mark metal. He's got everything in his shop like leather lined,
Right.
so he gets this nice polished steel, and he never does anything. I mean, it
Yeah.
starts that way and ends that way.
Whoop.
Stainless Sallets are $680 on his website,
Right.
and he sells them hand over fist.
Well, they're stainless.
I don't get it.
It's amazing.
Crazy removing steel and stuff like that. I remember when it finally clicked in him and he went,
Ah.
right.
And it's all the same fundamental thing. That's what blows my mind.
So what?
It's all the same fundamental thing. And you're moving more material.
Right. So it's slower because of the volume.
Not because it's a different technique or a different...
Yeah, there's nothing different. I've just shoved all this metal right around the corners here.
Right.
Not really pushed it into itself at all. I'm gonna have to here in a minute, but get it around this corner first.
Where's your center line running?
Right through here.
Okay.
Here.
What are you gonna put it?
Right down through here. We got the back, the front, and this is coming down right towards the jawline.
I'd have to keep arrows and little letters and numbers on there, because I have
I guess
the damn
you've
thing
done
back.
more than one of these, huh?
What?
You've done more than one of these.
No. This is my first attempt. What are you talking about? I've never raised a helmet before.
I don't know what you're talking about. Crazy.
How many hats have you done? I've only seen a couple.
Oh.
Just,
Who knows? Maybe I've only done a couple. I don't know. How many have you seen that have actually like posted on the archives that says raised hat?
There was
Probably not too many, huh?
There was the one with the lines in it, the really distinct, the very shallow flutes that were going back. What was it, Closetown? I don't even remember. I remember the back shot of it. I don't remember what the front of it was like. Oh no, it's the one that was out of Kerber's with little steps.
No, that was welded.
Was that welded?
Yep. It was spring steel welded.
Cheater.
I didn't want to pay for raised.
was turning it over there to avoid a fold?
Yeah. It was pinching it a little bit too tight that I wouldn't be able to compress it. Like all this metal here either has to press into itself or get stretched out.
Right.
We're gonna stretch it.
You're on the side now.
Yeah. Center line right through here, I think. So we're coming down this way.
So down through the temple and
Beat the snot out of it. No sense in shooting the reading.
There it is. I was looking at the wrong one.
Get the soapstone.
Yeah. So he scribed those arcs. I was just looking at one of those arcs going, how did my center line do that?
Really moved the material. And this is the front facing us, right? Back? Oh, that's right. You started at the back and moved it around.
Yeah, I worked around this side, now I'm going to work around this side.
What the hell does that turn into a helmet?
And you know what? I wouldn't be doing that. I'd just like gradually work it around little by little and waste time.
You can't pull it just slowly out and make the helmet just fine.
But why?
It works fine. This is just how I like to do it.
Well, it'd be more time consuming that way. Right now, you just positioned a lot more metal. In
What?
You just positioned a lot more metal in that one heat than the way I would have tried to do it.
My buddy Mark was really shocked when he saw how I was raising and how much metal I was moving in each shot. Nobody told me I couldn't move that much, so I went ahead and tried to move that much.
And obviously you can.
Lo and behold, it works.
See, now this suits my style. I like moving a lot at once.
Like I was doing things in what would be considered 3, maybe 4 courses where you work from the center all the way out. I mean, I'm working from the center all the way out. I'm just doing it in sections rather than, you know, in concentric circles. But I was doing it in about 3 courses. What my buddy Mark and the professor up there and such were taking or doing in about 10 courses. But it's like nobody told me, you know. It's like. Shoot, even if they told me, you can't raise that fast, I would have been like, why not?
Yes. Just watch me.
I'm going to move this over a little bit more.
So you're going to kind of push it forward.
Yeah, I'm trying to work this up to basically this region on the other side. You don't need the extra metal right there.
That's the same thing you did on the other side.
Yeah.
Flip it forward.
You could, if you were really paying attention and really cared to, actually stick it just this section if you wanted.
How's your thing going, Dick?
What?
Didn't you go somewhere last night? A demo or something?
That's next Wednesday. It's just for church. It's for the kids group
Oh.
at church. I did it last year.
So is it just you?
Just me. Yeah. I put on my armor and I talked to them about the history and development of armor. I always like it.
Doing it cold forge is good. Get the whole area hot fast.
Right.
I'm still missing how this turns into health.
Yeah, it's starting to I guess I'm starting to understand some of the individual techniques. And it's going, Orhelm, right? I haven't seen it yet turn into it.
I can see it going into a salad bowl real quick.
It's a wonderful walk at this point.
Makes you wonder, is this how they made woks way back when? Actually, probably not too long ago they made them this way.
The old television commercials, when the woks first started coming out, showed people hammering them by hand, using a flat-faced claw hammer from the inside.
Wow.
I'm learning a lot.
Man, I've read about it, but I had never seen anybody do it.
Well, that's it. That's why I want to see you do this, because I've read it, I've seen little examples, I've played with it, but I've never seen someone who has successfully done it do it start to finish.
Well, you want me to finish this? I
No.
thought I was going to be done after this course.
Yeah.
Didn't you say you could get it to about here, though?
I can get it to about there. It's beyond there that I struggled with.
So you don't want me to stop at this point?
No.
That would kind of leave us with us, yeah.
That annoy you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tease. Is it under tease?
This is the back.
Whoa. There's no open flame.
What?
Good thing there's no open flame.
Okay.
Oh, wait, there is.
Is there any reason why you're drawing the back down first as opposed to the front? Or does it matter?
Does I feel like it? Some it takes more work than pressing the metal in. Might as well get the back out of the way.
That's going to be much more useful now at that height.
So we're gonna raise a match point bassinet tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
What?
We're gonna raise a bassinet tomorrow, right?
Get me started a little earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
like
got out of the
now.
house late.
He's obviously welded with stainless welding rods. Because you get that shiny spot.
No, your weld's not gonna corrode, but you did a weld with, or there's a weld with dissimilar materials. So.
We can get enough metal moved around to where we want it.
So your passes go a little faster when you're out here. We're not starting all the way at 7.
Yeah.
Each pass.
Like I'm moving.
I was on the other end of that.
Feel it popping at you.
Covered in black, sitting here tonight.
Money makes free time happen.
What?
Money makes free time happen.
Yeah.
Lack of money means you're working all the time.
What's that up there?
And there it goes.
I think some heat might help.
Cool. Well, you'll have to watch the coppersmith one too. That's
Okay.
pretty neat. Not as
Finicky now. That's really all up at this time.
really.
Now it's up. I've been turning it off
Oh, you
during,
got the. I haven't seen your hand go there.
during heat.
I do feel like I'm just sitting here watching.
It feels good. I'm learning so much. I'm coping with that very nicely. Very nicely.
This will make that away.
And are we in the front or the back?
In the front.
Okay. So that's going to be
You need to put a big F and a big B on there for
us illiterate. The handle blows are coming to stretch.
Yeah, I'm working to drive the metal that way.
I've really been paying attention while he's doing that. If you want to look complete the camera outside of the drum and all that, he's capturing the metal and
That I can handle.
he did too.
That worked for me.
There you go.
Even shows up on the video now.
That's nice and soft. That's gooey gooey.
And see, if that's it. I don't think we were working nearly this hot.
I mean, that is pretty gooey metal right there. It was. Maybe that's what he is getting it hotter than I would have thought, and that might be a lot of why he's moving it so damn fast as compared to what I've seen and when I played with those elbows that I did. I wasn't getting it near. I was doing that and then going back and moving it a little bit. And
People talk about
Of course, I had a
carbon
little
loss,
math for it.
carbon gain, and stuff like that. You think the armors back then really knew if they were going to be losing, 10 thousandths, in the surface, or, a couple points of carbon?
does
Did
it
they
matter
care?
in the end result? No.
Well, especially for this.
You're
something
not-
that you're never going to fight in.
Well, you're
It's
not.
not
no-
real.
It's not going to the space shuttle that has to be X tolerance. I mean, it has to look and perform like a pack. I think I kind of turned myself off for raising what I did to those elbows because I wasn't getting hot enough, and I just thought this is such a bitch to do.
So right now you got a great salad bowl.
And I didn't. Those elbows that I did were crap. They ended up just turning into floating elbows because I didn't get any depth out of them or anything. I just turned them into.
I mean, I got the elbows on my suit. Right there, I got them raised. But they're small, I managed them. They're pretty close to the shape of that. I mean, off the nail. You know, where it's a lot of freeform plugging, although really, this is
Freeform. That's just
using the ball.
He just keeps beating the metal against the ball.
Where he
I'll try to stretch this too.
Right.
If I was trying to avoid stretching the thinning, I'd be hitting a little bit more just off the ball and just trying to compress the metal into itself. But this needs to come out some, so.
Like you were doing earlier, you were capturing the metal that you were trying to bring back in on the outside. And
Yeah, I'll do a
I like
little bit
that.
more of that up here in a little bit.
just to see it.
You can see this grow a little bit here.
Yeah, that's a lot hotter now. I mean, that's like melting.
Oh man, it got bigger.
It just got bigger. Look at all that. Look at all that hanging over now. Oh, I won't be bad habits anymore. It'll be the way it's done. Man. You gonna be able to get enough metal out of that? It won't be SCA legal.
Oh darn. And it's really helping
Kind of bad.
Oh, wait, this one.
Oh, that's when you figured that out.
Yeah, I screwed up his head. I was raising with a cutting tip at that point. I wasn't getting large enough hot areas.
Right.
And I realized I was stretch thinning areas and other areas I wasn't. I was like, ah, okay. I was like, I can do that on purpose. That's easy. We just went from moving the metal from here into there. That's the hard part. Once you're to this, you're just moving a small amount. You're just refining and adjusting and tweaking a little. Pinch it on the end from each side. All this metal has to go somewhere. I can press it into itself and thicken that area so I can pull it down. I want to try and draw that area out a little
You
bit.
get a little sort of central area length.
I can hear you.
So some length in here.
Yeah. Still hot over there. This is hard.
Yes, it is. It's a rock crushing ball.
Yeah.
Just a really big one.
Country rock.
The company I got my smaller ones from said they had them up to this size, but every time I checked, he didn't have any on hand.
I bought mine at
And he's not the kind of person that like writes something on a subject and then moves on to the next subject. He's always looking to improve on what he's done. Hey, you know what? There's a plus where you're at though. The metal doesn't lose heat as fast.
Yeah.
You can raise the room temperature.
Oh my god, you know, it just occurred to me that when we raised the one we did, it was January outside of my garage. So I bet we were losing a lot of heat too.
Shoot, this far from the torch you were losing heat. Did you still face the crowds and all that? Because
Not
more
so bad.
adjustment, it's horrible.
It's not quite as bad. We also didn't pay anything for the tickets, which helps you feel like you're getting a good deal out of it.
It's pretty reusable, isn't it?
Yeah, except when you're doing high temperature metals, you burn some of it away. For pewter and making my initial masters, because I do that, I make my original to take molds off of computer. It's infinitely.
Oh, okay, yeah. Don't worry about that. I would start with your finished stock. So, however you once you get done welding it all together, start shooting there.
Having some still footage, some still pictures taken at that time.
Yeah, I was
In
thinking
those
I could do
process.
that. Here's the start bars. Okay, here's them being welded. Here's them being welded.
55 cents.
What?
55 cents. I don't
Way
really.
cheap.
Yeah. Well, and there's people out there selling it for $4 each. Well, I'm making them mostly as a public service.
You what?
I make them mostly as a public service.
You're killing me.
Well, everybody wanted me to make Brevels. Make Brevels, make Brevels. So I made Brevels, steel Brevels. It's not going to do well for the stainless steel crowd. They won't want them. Plus they'll be damn near indestructible.
How would you do those? Can't cast them.
Turn them on a lathe. Computer controlled lathe.
That's time to. Oh no, you just do a rod and then cut it.
And I have access to what?
Okay.
What lathe?
A CNC computer controlled lathe.
So you take them. Do you have a shop teacher or anything like that?
Not in my building, in the main building we do.
The lathe and all that's in your building?
The little lathe and the little mill are in my building. The big lathe and the big mill are in the big building. Hoppa!
Now you're moving the center, or the top point. You're moving it forward?
I'm just stretching some metal out of this
Okay.
so we can get a little more depth.
I didn't know if you were relocating the,
We didn't start with a very big blank, so we're just giving ourselves a little extra metal.
because there was a pretty big diameter in the center there that wasn't worked, was there?
Yeah, I didn't touch any
It's a
of this.
pretty...
So that's why I don't mind doing it at this point, because it's not like I've thinned the metal yet. So now we went from 16 to, 17 maybe? Didn't stretch that much, so. But I've given us a little bit more depth.
Oh yeah, notice it.
loose.
My big thing is that ARS has the funds to do what they need to do. Period.
Yeah.
So that we can keep making a difference in the knowledge base.
Which is where I would much rather deal, but I need to make money is the problem.
Right.
I mean, I'm doing armor because when I first saw historical pieces of armor and the work
Keep
and the
things in
quality
line so that he can keep making money from what he's doing. Me, I'm never gonna make money doing it. I'm not worried about that.
unless you got a full-time job doing
Yeah.
it.
And I absolutely want to learn more.
A knife maker in the Metroplex. He's still around actually since he's died. I don't know. But I got talking to him about knife making. His name's Jim Pugh Knives. He's in his 80s now. When he got into knife making, custom knife making, doing it as hobbyists, he was like, they'll spend a month building one knife and then sell it for $500-600 because they're just doing it because they enjoy doing it because we showed them how. He was like, we killed our market.
Yeah.
This market's already dead.
This market was killed with India.
No, this market was dead before India. This market never had a hope. The last this market saw any real business was turn of the century. $1,000.
And there's a hell of a lot more work that goes into armor than there is a
Exactly.
fucking little stock removal. And you got a nice knife.
This guy, Jim Pugh, all he did was stock removal. He doesn't even forge his blades.
$80,000 stock remove.
Or stock removal blade. Doesn't even have a fork. He's got a kiln for heat treating.
It's a mess.
CAD could get in the Met.
They're not answering his phone now. They're not.
Depends on how he approaches them.
Oh, I know.
Anybody can get into any of these museums. I'm as an absolute nobody for lots of time. I was getting into these museums, getting into the back rooms. Nobody had freaking heard of me. Didn't matter. You just gotta approach them the right way.
First museum I ever apply an aging technique to the material and then have matching links across the entire piece. Period, and his repairs. So he's looking for a way to mark every one of his links that goes in. So his work doesn't end up in a Christie's catalog.
Well, it's one thing for a repair to wind up in a repaired piece to wind up, and I wouldn't be as worried about that. But a whole cloth piece, yeah.
A repaired piece that is misrepresented.
Well, yeah.
Because he is making his tooling.
It's easy enough for him to fix that. Just don't make your tooling reproduce the way. Doesn't look as good. Doesn't look
Make
as
something a little off about the way it trims the links.
Yeah, but he
together.
can't do that. It has to be just right.
Yeah, which is against his goals. So I mean that's just.
Billy Radford's stuff. Even the insides of some of his stuff is scarily real.
Yeah, you're right about that.
It's like, does Billy Radford actively produce stuff? I don't know. Does he have
I
a
don't
wife that supports him?
I've seen a couple pieces of his go up for sale on auction.
Well, he's selling those bar boots that he's got for $1,700. They're freaking welded. They've been sitting in the shop so long he keeps having to clean all the rust off of them.
He sold one of them.
Yeah, now he's down to 2. Maybe we can get him to donate one to ARS.
Hey, there you go.
It's crazy once you figure out the techniques. I mean, you see, I'm just doing the same thing over and
Yeah,
over and
you
over.
really are.
Did you see his bassinet visor?
Yeah, the double.
Yeah. That is
I actually thought that was a really good idea.
pretty
Yeah.
cool, man.
Somebody told me that's been there forever, though. Charlie, because I've talked to him more recently.
Well, when we go over there in the spring for our next for our conference, we're gonna have to make some time to go leave.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's
2-hour
4
train
freaking.
ride or
Is it 2? I thought it was 4.
something. It's not bad.
Oh, I thought it was 4 hours or something.
Yeah, it's closer to the outer radius that we've got, so.
Get it done.
Was that compressing or stretching?
Stretching it down.
Okay.
You're scary. I was about to ask that same question because I couldn't tell.
Well,
I don't know if it's-
at one point it looked like it was going in, but the metal seemed to be going down.
Yeah.
Your hammer blows were headed in, but the metal was going down. That's why it stumped me. It looked like it should have been stretching, and I thought I was seeing stretching.
I was going in more than down. Like, the metal was there. It needed to go somewhere. Some of it's trying to kick out this direction.
I like Patrick. He's my friend. Imagine what he's going to be doing in 10, 15, 20 years.
Whoa, throwing hammers at Brian.
It's quitting time.
Hopefully making money.
I think we're done.